Alright, Willie. I'm going to try one more. I have a very stuffy nose, so I apologize for the quality of the sound. And this is one thing that I do a bit, was actually one of two things that I do when the subject of gambling comes up. Uh, I don't do nearly as many gambling routines as you would think, but this is one of them. And yeah, it works with any deck of cards, well, uh, bar deck of cards, what have you. And they're truly, truly shuffled. It's very important that they're shuffled by a spectator. They're shuffled as much or as little as they want to. And I tend to talk about, well, I do that when the subject of marked cards comes up. And I tell them that typically when somebody says marked cards, this, for example, they think that this is the six of clubs, that there'd be a marking for the six and for the club. And these cards do exist, but they're kind of the exception, not the rule, because in actual games you don't need to have that much information. The more information you have about a card, the more marking, the more different sorts of marks have to be on the back. So the easiest marking system would be some cards have some sort of mark in them, some others do not. For example, in the game of blackjack, if you only had the high cards and the low cards marked, and that's all the markings that there is, you'd already have a huge advantage. Or in poker, you might mark for size only, but only, so I say, tens, jacks, queens, kings, and aces. They have different marks, but you don't mark the suit, and you don't mark any of the lower cards. And I might tell them about, swords or what have you. And to give an example, usually just getting the information is good enough to get all the money in the end. But if you combine marked cards with sleight of hand, well, the sleight that makes sense is a second deal. So, for example, in the game of bridge, if say all the spades were marked, and bridge is dealt to four people. There's four people playing. You and your partner, north and south, and west and east. West and east are your opponents. You being south and north is your partner. And let's say the cards now have been shuffled by the spectator. If all the spades were marked, what you would do is, whenever you come to your opponent, you deal them the card. When you come to your partner, if it's not a spade, you deal a second. If you come to yourself, if it's not a spade, you deal a second. And sometimes you just get a different card. But when you get a spade, you obviously deal yourself a spade, and that way you should get most of the spades, and you just do that. So whenever you come to your opponent, whenever you come to yourself, you don't have a spade. You deal a second, or if you come here, now this guy would get a spade, you give him a second, you can deal yourself the spade, and you're trying to steer the spades to your own hand. And it kind of looks nice when you do that for folks. You kind of have to pay attention. It looks very magical, and most of the time you will get most of the spades. You might miss one or two, but you should get most of them. And in this case, let's see, between my partner and myself, I did get all of them. I'd say like 9 out of 10 times you get all of them. Every once in a while you might miss one, but it turns out you have all the spades. And then you'd say, let me see if I got how many I got. I already know that I have all of them. Let's say, well, if you're playing bridge, you'd probably put them in order, blah blah blah, what have you, and look at lo and behold, it's king, ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. I got all of them. Very good. This, of course, being the first part. You don't obviously do this face up. You tend to do this face down. So let's try this face down. And there's many different ways of shuffling. You can shuffle on the table. I don't always do this, and you can tell, but it's interesting for magicians to just say, okay, well, you give a table shuffle or whatever. Oops. You can shuffle them in the hands more often than in bridge clubs. They try to be elegant, and they shuffle cards in the hands, and it looks something like this. Blah 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 blah. Oh my god. Well, anyway, I cannot believe I did this, but then I'd have to. I think I have. Oh my god, I have one too many cards in there. Shite. I know how to do a pharaoh. I really do. I swear to God, I do. Whatever. This is just for you. So anyway, yes, I don't have one too many times. And so this is an elegant bridge way of doing this. And you can cut, and let me do this at speed. Yada yada, and obviously you deal out the cards. You know the result. Now, I have to tell you a story about this. You have to tell them you get the best hand apart from no trump. And of course, there's no spades here, and there's no spades there. And, oh my God. I should do it again. Well, that didn't work out at all. Actually, it did work out. Between my partner and I, we got all the spades. I don't know why I went wrong there, but it doesn't matter because between my partner and myself, I got all the spades. This was unintentional. If you had performed this, it would not have mattered because, of course, the idea is that all you're really doing is you're doing 2 out pharaohs. I made a mistake there, but still, it doesn't matter because, you know, north and south, you do get all the spades. I have to tell you a quick story about this. I don't do it all that often. It does work. One of the reasons why I was a little nervous here because I don't usually do a table pharaoh, but you can do a table pharaoh for the first shuffle because it doesn't matter if it's an out or in pharaoh as long as the bottom part is okay, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you cut as long as the bottom 13 cards get pharaohed in, and then the second pharaoh you do in the hands, and it looks very impressive to a magician that you did a table pharaoh, but you really only did a table pharaoh with 13 cards, and it's not nearly as hard as a perfect split and so on and so forth. And now it would work. I did this once years ago in 2007, if I'm not much mistaken. I did this for, we went to dinner. I was doing a mobile casino sort of thing. We went to dinner with 3 girls and myself. I was the project leader, as it was. And on the table next to us, there was an elderly couple. Very elegant, very classy, maybe in the late 60s, 70s. And the lady was talking about playing bridge. And I thought, well, she was actually talking about the strategy in bridge and so on and so forth with her husband or whoever. This is interesting, so I went over there and introduced myself. And I did this trick where I wound up with all 13 spades, of course. So, that's the best hand in bridge. A grand slam in spades, 13 spades. Now she was really, really impressed that I got 13 spades because, if you don't know what a pharaoh is, this is very impressive. If you do know what a pharaoh is, well trick is self-explanatory. And she goes, oh, that's very good. That's quite fascinating. But really, that's not true. The best hand is 13 no trumps. So is that too. And I remembered seeing Andrew Wimhurst do a similar routine because whenever you do a bridge routine just means that you deal out all the cards and you get all the spades. And so if you and when Andrew Wimhurst does his routine, he goes, well, so you get the best hand apart from no trump, a grand slam in spades. Because I still don't play bridge, but you have to say that because no trump is a better hand, and for 999 people out of 1,000 that you do this for, it makes no difference anyway. You get 13 spades, that's fantastic. But for that one person that actually plays bridge, you have to make sure that you say it's the best hand apart from no trump, or else you'll wind up with egg on your face like I did. And there's just nothing you can say about it. Nevertheless, it's a fun routine. I'm not going to explain to you how it's done because what you see is what you get. It's obvious. But it's a fun routine, and it's effective for card players and non-card players alike. And I do this from time to time. All right, that was the first thing. Thank you.